In this video, we're going to cover all of the functionalities of the flipped spreadsheet 2022 for both Pro and Basic. We'll start off with a brand new sheet and I'll show you step by step of how to use the spreadsheet. Afterwards, we're going to take a look at a pre-populated version with data so I can show you some of the tips, tricks, and tools that are built into the spreadsheet so you can navigate, customize, and just take a look at your data and fully understand your business. Let's start off with a fresh brand new copy. So here I am. I clicked the link below the video to purchase the product. This is the Pro version. I'm going to scroll down and click I want this item. While you are here, please make sure to leave us a review on the product. We greatly appreciate it. Once I click I want this product, I'm going to go ahead and pay. It's successful. Obviously, as the creator, I get the version for free. I click view content. At this point, you are going to get an email from Gumroad with a blank copy into your email. Let's go ahead and open up a blank copy. And right off the bat, you're going to see a yellow pop-up on the top center of your screen that says, hey, it's protected. Do you want to enable editing? The answer is yes. Enable editing and enable content. The Pro version is a macro-enabled spreadsheet, meaning that there are functions and calculations in the background working to make sure that the spreadsheet is working properly. As a reminder, the Pro version is only for Microsoft Excel. Once I get my product, there's obviously no data, no sales, no inventory. It's a brand new copy for 2022. The most common question I've received so far is, what do I do with my unsold inventory from 2021? It's simple. You just copy paste it into your master inventory tab. Let me show you how easy that is. I'm going to click on master inventory 2022. I'm going to go and find my inventory from 2021. If you are a returning customer, this is going to be super easy. I'm going to take all of my information. I'm going to copy, click over to my brand new sheet. Right below the example, I'm going to paste. And just like that, all of my inventory from 2021 is populated into 2022. Now, when I go to my reports on the bottom, it's going to show that I have $86.38 of unsold inventory. Obviously, the size of unlisted inventory is going to vary from user to user because everyone is different. If you're just starting out fresh and you don't have any listed inventory, you would just simply start out fresh. If you are just starting fresh, let me show you how that works. Here I am, again, brand new sheet with no information in it. I'm going to go ahead and log in a couple of my listed inventory items so that I can get some data generated here. For the first item that I have listed, I'm going to go ahead and write over the example line. It'll be a vintage black and blue sweater. The category I'm going to select from the drop down is going to be clothing. The cost of goods was $2 at a garage sale. I listed it the 1st of January. The location is bin 2. Days active is obviously going to be 0 as it's a brand new item. I'm going to go ahead and enter another item here. This is going to be a set of pots and pans from Revereware. Now you can make your listing titles here whatever you want. You can just copy paste them from your actual listing title, which is what we do, or you can just type into the format here. It's up to you. We recommend that you copy paste your actual listing title because afterwards you'll be able to hit Control F, search for that product. So here I'm just going to write set, hit enter, and it's going to pull up any values containing that term. So if you have an item that's model number 12347, you can just simply hit Control F, 12347. And if you have 100 or 500 or 2,000 items listed, it's going to quickly get you to that item so you can document the sale. Category here is going to be housewares. Cost of goods was $12.69. I listed this December 29th. Quantity of 1. And the location here is going to be bin 3. And one more item that I listed a few days ago, set of Pokemon cards. And that's going to be under collectibles. So I can type in or I can click down and select from the drop down. The cost of goods here was $17. And I listed this back on the 25th. Quantity was 1. And right away you can see that the days active changes to 4. So the days active will change based off of how old your item is, how long it's been listed for, and it'll color change. Red meaning you need to do something about it. Dark green meaning it's a fresh new listing. yellow, orange, red. It's a scale similar to a traffic light. I'm done putting in my 3 listed items that I recently listed. Obviously, this is going to take you a little bit of time, a little bit of longer time, depending on how much listed inventory is coming over. If you use the 2021 version, it'll be super easy. Again, you would just copy paste your information. I just made my first sale, so I'm going to go ahead and document it. It was a set of Pokemon cards, so I'm going to click and drag all the way through the date listed. I'm going to copy. I'm going to go over to January, over the first line. I'm going to paste it. The cost of goods was $17. I sold it on eBay. It'll automatically give me my approximate fees. I'll show you later on in this video how you can customize your fees. You can actually just type in the actual amount of fees you paid if you don't want to use percentages that are approximate. I'm going to put in my total gross sale on eBay, which includes the customer's sales tax that they paid. The total was $127.97 with them paying shipping all in one. That's the total amount that they paid. They may have paid $12 in shipping. Let's say that your shipping cost was only $8.75. Obviously, you're going to keep the difference. We're going to tab over to fees paid. That's automatic. Net profit, $84.94 is automatic. I don't have any adjustments or returns at this point, so my net profit is done and I'm finished here. My first sale, great. All I have to do now is go over to my dashboard, hit the refresh button. It takes about 4 to 5 seconds to the macro to work in the background. There is going to be a pop-up stating there's already data in Flip Spreadsheet Pro 2022 by Hustle and Hooks. Do you want to replace it? The answer is yes. And here's my first sale. It updates all of my dashboard, right? My total sales for January are updated. My sales by platform are updated. And my categories are updated here. So obviously I just have one item that I sold. This information is really not of much value at this time. I'll show you later on how you can take a look at this information, how you can learn about your business. Once I'm done tracking my sale, I'm simply going to right click the row and delete it. As this item has been accounted for, I don't need it here anymore. Now under my reports, I'm going to have my first sale logged for January. My quarter numbers are already updated because January falls under the first quarter of the year. And all of my numbers here for annual expenses are updated. So I took down the cost of goods off of the master inventory sheet. The only things I have left are worth $14.69. In other terms, I have $14.69 tied up in my inventory that's sitting on my shelves currently. Back to January, I just made another sale. However, I did not have a chance yet to put it under my master inventory tab. It sold so fast that I didn't have a chance to log it. That's not a problem. I'm going to click over to January. It was a bunch of vintage Levi's that sold in a lot, so I can just simply write lot of Levi's, 7 pairs. The category is going to be clothing. I got these at the bins for super cheap, so my total cost of good was only $7.18. The date listed was today, and it sold right away, the same day. I sold this set on Mercari. The gross sale was $75. They paid for shipping, so it's a nice zero here. And again, all of my numbers are automatically generated. I can go back to my dashboard now and refresh it and see what my new totals are for the year. Everything should be up to date here. You can see now that I have a 50-50 split between eBay and Mercari, and that my categories are now a 50-50 split as well. This information is much more valid once you get a bunch of sales documented. I will be playing around with a pre-populated data set so I can show you the capabilities and how to really understand your data using this dashboard. I do have a couple of expenses that I need to document. First, I bought the spreadsheet. That's going to be a business expense. So I'm going to simply write in here, flipped spreadsheet. It was a business expense. I purchased it on the 1st of 22. The amount was $75. I also just ordered some more boxes that are 4 by 4 by 9. This is going to be under packing material. I bought that on the 1st as well, and that cost me $72.77. And I just bought some more bubble wrap. That's going to be under packaging materials as well. I bought that today and that was $49. As you can see, my expenses are totaling up as I enter them. Make sure you're keeping a track of all of your expenses throughout the year because again, you're going to be taxed based off of your net gains minus your expenditures. If you don't know what your expenses are, you're going to be paying a lot more in taxes than if you know exactly how much money you spend on your business. This is key. The mileage calculator is pretty straightforward. On the first, I went thrifting. I drove 42 miles. And then on the second, I had a private meetup and I drove 78 miles. Notice that there are two numbers that automatically populate here. The IRS allows for 58.5 cents per mile as a reimbursement or a tax deduction at the end of the year. So make sure you're keeping track of your miles. Ask your CPA for more information on that, but it's best to just keep all of it in one so you can present to your CPA with all data all together. And then just a couple of examples here. My internet bill was $65 and my storage unit was $105. Once I add those expenses there, I'm done updating all of my expenses. I can go take a look at my report. Again, on the bottom right corner, it summarizes all of that here. So I know exactly how much I've spent so far in expenses for 2022. My mileage calculator is up to date. My bills and other expenses are up to date. And my unsold inventory is all in one spot. So I know exactly how much money I'm spending on my business. It's extremely important for you to keep up with this on some sort of weekly, daily, bi-weekly routine so you're always tax ready. That's one of the main purposes of the spreadsheet is to understand exactly how much money you're making and how much money you're spending on your business. The features up here are really neat. You can toggle pretty quickly between all of the months. All of the windows are frozen, so you always keep your headers. And on the top of each tab, you can see your averages and your totals. If you have any issues with returns, let's say the set of Pokemon cards, they weren't in the condition that the buyer expected. You guys worked out a deal where you're going to refund them partial amount of $15. You would just simply type in a $15 and it's going to automatically reduce your adjusted net profit. Let's say, hopefully this doesn't happen, but there's a return on those jeans. So my return charges are $75. And you can see now I go into the red of $18.06. That's because there are still fees associated with the transaction. The other way you can do this is by simply going over to the fees paid, putting in a 0. If they ship the product back and you're going to relist it, then your cost of goods goes into 0 as well, and you're just going to have to document that item as listed inventory. Now my balance here should just be 0. You can also right click over the row and delete it. It's up to you how you want to handle returns. As a reminder, on the info tab, there are definitions and instructions. So you can take a look here and realize where to input data, what not to touch, where the calculations are happening, how to actually do it. There are instructions on every single task, how to log expenses, how to log new listed items, how to log new sales, so on and so forth. There's also customization of your spreadsheet. You can customize this to meet your needs. Let me show you how to change the fees percentages and platforms that you sell on. You simply want to go over to the titles tab. The first thing here you'll see is the category list. This is the category that you may or may not sell in. These are all of the major categories of eBay. You can modify this however you want. If I change coins and money just simply to cash money, once I click out of it and I go to January or my master inventory tab, you'll see that that has changed to cash money instead of cash and coin. If you want to insert or delete a category, you can just right click in between the antiques and other. You can just right click anywhere you want and hit insert, and then you can put in whatever category you want, like dolls. Now that I go over to my January tab and I look at my list, dolls is going to be included. You can also remove any categories that you want to. That's totally up to you. Action list is designed for the master inventories portion of the spreadsheet. You need to do something with your aging inventory. You can either retake some photos, readjust it, you can take down the listing, etc. You can modify this list to whatever you want, but it's important to document what you're doing with your stale items so that they're not just constricting your cash flow. You can modify these, delete them, or insert new ones just like you would above in the categories list. Under platforms and fees, The most important thing to understand here is that whatever platform you decide to put in, let's say you're also selling on Amazon, and the fees associated with Amazon are, let's say, 17%. As soon as I enter that in, you're going to have that option now as a platform. So instead of Mercari, I hit Amazon and it changes it automatically to 17%. If you want to delete these options, you can definitely do it similar to how you would adjust the category list above. If you want to change the percentages, you definitely can. Let's say that you believe that you pay closer to 17% in fees for eBay, 25% fees on Poshmark, and 5% fees on Amazon. All of these changes will be adjusted as soon as you make the change here. Just make sure that you are putting the right fees percentage next to the platform titles so that when you're changing it under your sales, it reflects appropriately. I'm just going to simply Control Z all of my changes or simply undo my changes here. And then on the bottom, same thing with the expense types. You can change, add, modify just like you would for the rest of the sheet. I've had people ask me if they can add or remove certain columns. If you want to do that, you definitely can. However, I would recommend that you do that in a test sheet so that it doesn't affect the overall calculations. Once you modify the base structure of the spreadsheet, I no longer can offer you tech support because it's not something that I created and I may not be familiar with what you did to alter the calculations or the spreadsheet in general. Just keep that in mind. Now that I've gone through how to do the basics, how to use this spreadsheet, let's take a look at an example with pre-populated data so I can show you some of the tricks, tips, and hints of how to make this spreadsheet work for you and how you can truly understand your business with numbers. Here's my example. Let's pretend that this is the end of the year and I've kept up with my spreadsheet. I've logged all of my sales and my inventory. All of my data is here. So of course, there's a little bit more to evaluate here now because there's actual sales history. I can take a look at my chart month to month and have a quick glimpse of what happened, right? For whatever reason, August was a bad month in this data sample. The month before, I sold over 10,000 in gross and it dropped down to 5,200. Something may have happened here. If it's personal, I took some time off, it's obvious, but if I did everything the same as the previous few months, I need to investigate what happened with my listings in August. You can see that in this data sample, I rebounded and the end of the year was strong, which is good. Over on my sales by platform, there's a nice breakdown of all of my total sales. I had 2,292 sales for the year, and it breaks it down by platform. This is nice because here I can take a look at what platforms I'm selling most at. Let's say in theory that I have the same amount of listings on every single platform. I can see that Etsy is way underperforming eBay. I can see Mercari and local sales are pretty low as well. This may lead to some sort of action for the new year. I may drop certain platforms or put more gas on the fire on platforms that actually work, right? So if eBay and Facebook are my top two sellers, maybe I can make a business decision and drop some of my other platforms as they're not bringing me the revenue that I need to sustain activity on those platforms. That's how you can use your information, your data to make adjustments. Business adjustments and business decisions need to be made based off of data, not based off of feelings and emotions. That's why this is extremely important. You need to understand your numbers regardless of what level reseller you are. If this is your 7th sale or your 7,000 sale, you need to clearly understand how much money you're making. So in case a friend, a family member asks you, or for your own good, you need to be clear in your answer and understand your business. If you don't, I don't know what to tell you, right? If somebody came up to me today and said, well, how much money do you actually make reselling per month? I can pull up my data and show them if I truly want it. When my taxes are due, I can show them all of my information because I don't need to scramble for taxes. I've kept up with my spreadsheet throughout the year. I don't know how people make a living or have side income coming in without really understanding how much money they're making. I don't get it. It is what it is. Number of sales by category are displayed here below. You can toggle through these if you would like to. You can click to simply look at antiques. I've sold 0. Arts and crafts supplies, I've sold 10. Books, I've sold 0. Clothing, I've sold 336 items. Collectibles, 134. Electronics, 592, so on and so forth. You can also just click here, remove the filters, and take a look at the entire data set so you can analyze your business. This information can be an aid to understanding your business for a couple of reasons. One, you'll see what items are readily available and are selling for you. If you're thrift stores or you're sourcing places are heavily clothing or heavily toys and games, that's going to reflect in your sales because that's what you're selling. You can also see that certain categories you just don't do well in, or they don't sell well for you, and then you can investigate why. For us, we primarily sell electronics, shoes, and clothing, so our numbers are going to skew that way. We don't sell a lot of antiques, but if we come across a great deal, hey, why not? Once you alter any of your sales, make any adjustments for returns or add more sales, always hit the refresh button. The refresh button is here so that it updates all of your metrics on your KPI page or your dashboard page. Under the Master Inventory tab, you can see that I have some pre-populated data here, some listings as old as 369 days, and some listings as new as 1 day. You can see a clear color changing as the dark green turns into a lighter lime green, into a yellow, orange, and then red. It's a simple color scale to remind you that you need to do something with your older listings. Any listing that just simply sits there and is not selling is constricting your cash flow. In business, cash flow is key. You need to make sure that your items are actually selling. You can use that information to do whatever you'd like with the products. You can delete them, remove them, adjust them, relist them, etc. This is extremely important for sellers like us that sell on multiple platforms because not all platforms have those types of analytics that we can look at. But once I log all of my listed items, I can simply see how old they are and I can keep a tab on it. Here you can develop a business plan. I am going to relist X amount of items that are X amount of days old, investigate those listings and get them removed, relisted, or modified so I can actually make the sale. That's totally up to you how you want to use that information. Under reports, everything is pre-populated. The nice thing is that everything is broken down by quarter, so you can see how many sales, how much gross, how much net and net adjusted you've made per quarter, and you can take this information to your CPA if you're paying quarterly taxes. There's also an annual report, and of course there's your annual expenses. You can also take a look at your monthly tabs and compare month-to-month totals to see if your business is staying the same, if it's growing, if it's stagnant, if you're meeting your goals, etc. Under each tab, there's going to be a summary table above the sales that are recorded for the month. In this example for June, we had 177 sales. Here's my total cost of goods sold, my total gross sales, shipping costs, approximate fees, net profits, so on and so forth. And if I keep toggling over, you can see that I've made 5.9 sales per day for June of 2022, with an average gross sale of $52.34 and an average net sale of $31.10. This is a great way to keep a pulse in your business. If your business model is to make $25 net profit per sale, you can see that in June you've met that goal. Let's take a look at July. In July, you've also met that goal. Now let's play around with some of our sales. Let's go over to the April tab. Here, what we can do with all of our sales recorded is we can do some sorting. So you can take a look at category and just take a look at all of the electronics that you sold. It's going to sort out electronics only, and you can investigate further of how much money you made just in electronics. You can filter these tables however you'd like. For example, you can take a look at your shipping cost and look at largest to smallest to see how much you're actually spending in shipping. So it looks like the most expensive thing that I shipped out was $66.56. And you can derive some averages from here. You can play around with some net profit numbers here as well. The nice thing about that is you can see what items are making you the most amount of money. So you can sort largest to smallest and see that there's a few really big hitters here, but on average I'm making about $40 per sale, $27 per sale, and so on. You can also take a look and see what are your least profitable items. In this example, there is a good amount of items that I made less than $10 on. You can then deep dive into what those items were, what category they were, and you can make some decisions such as, hey, I'm no longer going to sell this type of item as it's not worth my time. Or you can take a look at that data and figure out how you can adjust those categories for the new year or for the new month to make sure that you're learning from your information. Over on your Master Inventory tab, you can do the same thing with category. You can sort A to Z. Take a look at how many items are in what category and play around with your data that way. You can take a look at your date listed, of course, sort this however you'd like to. And you can take a look at your cost of goods, sort it however you'd like to, and see what you're spending your most amount of money on. In this example, there is an item that I spent $250 on that's been listed for 100 days. In other words, $250 have been tied up in my business for over 100 days and it's not moving. It's time for me to do something about that. $250 is a lot of money that's just sitting on your shelf. The nice part about the master inventory sheet is you can sort this information. You can see how much money is tied up in your items, and you can make more aggressive moves on those items that are holding up the majority of your money. In this example, there are only a few items that are holding a large amount of money, but you can see that these items have been sitting for over 100 days and it's time to make some aggressive changes. Either your pricing is off, your titles are wrong, your item specifics are wrong, etc., etc. The basic version works just the same. Let me play around with those numbers just a little bit. The basic version does not have the dashboard, and it's missing some of the average calculations for the master inventory sheet. This is my pre-populated example of the basic sheet. My inventory is going to be the same. There's really not much difference here between the two versions. The major thing that's missing is the dashboard. You can do the same functions and the same sorting on the basic version, and you can get the same reports at the end of the year or at the end of the month, just like the pro version. I just wanted to bring this up because that is the fundamental change. The skeleton or the structure is the same for both. Under master inventory, you don't have the averages on the top like you would in the pro, but the functionality and the structure is still the same. You would record a sale the same way, you would record your inventory the same way, you would make adjustments the same way. That's going to bring me to the end of this video. I hope you found this informative. Of course, you can ask any questions that you'd like in the comment section below. I encourage you to join the tech support group once you are a customer. Under info, you scroll down, there's going to be a tad bit here that says Facebook Tech Support Group. I also have my tech support email here. If you have any troubles, please feel free to email me and I'll take a look at your spreadsheet and hopefully fix it relatively quickly. The tech support group is going to be a group of us all together. We can help each other out there, and you can see answers to previously asked questions that you may have. Thank you again for all of your support. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.